Hi and welcome to Baking 101. Today is going to be all about buns. So if you've ever ended up with these doughy, chewy thingies that hasn't risen, all these things fit for playing hockey games, this video is for you. And I'm going to show you all the tricks that pro bakeries use, and you'll end up with something even better at home, I promise. So a quick walkthrough of the ingredients. I've got 540 grams of plain wheat flour in here, 85 grams of sugar, there is a packet of instant yeast and 5 grams of salt. Now a little trick here if you want to get them extra fluffy, and which posh bakeries do use, is baking powder. There's 1.5 teaspoon of that in there. Now you could use baking soda, but if you do that, you have to add about a tablespoon or so of vinegar or lemon juice. Then we have 300 milliliters of milk. I've got some cardamom that I'm going to grind up, 1 egg, and room temperatured butter. In goes the milk and the egg. I just whisk that together lightly, followed by the dry ingredients. We're just going to sift in quite a bit of cardamom. Cardamom is the thing in buns in the Scandinavian countries. I know it's not so common elsewhere, but trust me, it gives a really nice flavor, and I'm going to be quite generous here. Something like that. I'm using cold milk. There are 2 reasons. One of them is that the temperature in the dough is going to rise with about 1 degree for each minute that it's needed in the machine. The second reason is that the prolonged rising time will help the buns to develop a really nice texture and flavor. So let's get this mixing. Just going to give it a quick mix, and then it's going to have a rest. I've just mixed the dough for something like 45 seconds to a consistency like this. And now I'm just going to let that rest for about half an hour, and that will let the fluids and the flour start to develop a nice strong gluten bond and giving us a better end result. The dough has had about a total of 8 minutes on the slowest setting. It's starting to come together, but it's not entirely smooth yet, and you can see it tears, and we don't want that. So I'm going to give it 3 more minutes at the slowest speed. The dough has had another 3 minutes. It's starting to come together, but it's nowhere near finished. It's still gonna tear like this. Going to give it 3 more minutes, and I think we'll start to add the butter after that. Okie dokie, so the dough is at the consistency where we want to start adding the butter. You can see it's starting to get stretchy. It will still tear, probably. And that's not too bad. Just gonna get the dough off the hook. I'm going to be adding the butter a little bit at a time. Really important that the butter is soft, by the way. Oh, fuck, I'm cooking! So the machine is done with doing its job. Now it's time for nature to take over. As I said, I started with cold milk, and the temperature in the dough now, after just about 20 minutes of kneading, is 26-27 degrees. I checked with the instant feed thermometer. That's why you want to start with cold milk. You don't want the dough to get too hot. Now I'm going to leave that to at least double in size. That will probably take about an hour or so. So while the dough is rising, the next 3 days are known as Shrove Tuesday or Fastelavensboller here in Scandinavia. and it's pretty big thing. It's like the last 3 days before Lent, so traditionally people all over the Christian world has been gorging on fatty food before the Lent, and no more so than in Sweden, where they go absolutely bonkers on what they call Fettisdagen, which is on Tuesday. And I'll show you how to make the famous Swedish semla right at the end of this video. Quick little tip to get a glossy finish on your buns or baked goods. Many people use a brush for like an egg wash or whatever. But if you want the real professional result, use one of these. It's a spray bottle. Make sure that you have it on the atomizer setting, or yeah, it's not going to turn out that good. So that's a tip for you. Now let's get to the shaping. The dough has been rising for about an hour and a half. As you can see, it's more than doubled in size. It's got this nice dome here, hardly any stickiness. I'm just gonna get it out on the counter, and I'm going to start shaping. You can see how nice and airy that dough is. And as I said, not sticking at all. Just make sure we get everything out on the ball. Right, so let's get on with it. Just gonna look like that. And you do want to use kitchen scale for this. And I'm gonna make buns about 110 grams. Oh, that's a bit big. And for the semla, I'm gonna make slightly smaller buns. Now, the shaping of the buns is actually fairly simple, but important. It's important that you get the gluten network tightened up, so they have a really nice rise. Okay, that's 6 of the big ones. Now for the semla, I'm gonna do about 60 grams. Oh, 70. Okay, let's go 70. Like so. And the reason you want to make these smaller, or almost, is so you can actually handle them. Like so. Now for the shaping. I'm gonna do the first couple really slow for you. You want to grab it with like the palm of your hand and then go around, forming your hand into something like this. You drag it and forward, drag it and forward, and then you can go around. Oh, one more time. So you go with the palm and get it in. Get it nice and shapely like this, like so. I'm going to redo that first one. Once you really get the hang of it, you can do 2 at a time. I'm just gonna pop these onto one of these silicone mats. These silicone mats are great, by the way, so if you bake a lot, definitely worth getting a set of those. Yeah, normally I don't fuss about that much. I want these to be I'm gonna reshape that. I want these to be as perfectly round as I possibly can. Actually, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put the smaller ones on a secondary tray. Give them some more space. They will double in size. And I will flatten them ever so slightly, so you can actually bite through them comfortably. So you want to see these more or less double in volume. Just cover it up with some tea towels, and I'll get back to you when it's time to bake. The buns have been like rising for about 10 minutes. You can see that they've already started to rise quite a lot. I'm just gonna pat them down a little bit, like so. I might actually want to do that one more time, depending on how they develop. That's how the dough is actually too stiff still. So I'm gonna have to do that one more time. That's because when we were shaping them, we were stressing the gluten. And the gluten's like really tight and doesn't want to do anything, particularly stretching. So we're just gonna have to wait a little bit. So the buns are just about finished with the rice. I'm about to, I'm gonna spray them first, and then I'm gonna put it into the oven. I'm using the fan function. And when you're using the fan on the oven, it's important that you check them halfway, because most ovens, they don't distribute the heat evenly, so you might want to turn the tray around or even actually switch positions halfway through. Okay, I'm gonna do a little test so I'm sure that I got the right setting for this, that it's misting. You want to keep a little bit of a distance, but at the same time you don't want to mess up your whole entire kitchen. Like so. I'll evenly coat it. Do the other ones. I forgot to mention that if you're going to use a spraying bottle, it's important that you pass the mixture through a sieve in case there are some lumps in the egg mixture. Like so. Good. And also, I don't know if you know about this, some do, some don't. When you put the trays in the oven, you want this sort of slanted side facing the fan. That will direct the heat down into the trays in a more efficient way. Now, as you can see, I've got a tray at the top, and I'm going to dump water into that to create steam. It's the best way. Or you could also use a spraying bottle with water and just spray that around. This will mimic a professional oven in a really good way. Okie dokie, I'll check those in 5 minutes. I forgot to mention the oven temperature. It's about 225 degrees Celsius. So the buns are about done. I'm really excited to see how they turned out. I always am when I'm baking. I forgot to mention one thing with using this spray thingy. First, it's important that you pass the mixture through a mesh sieve in case there's any lumps. And the second thing, of course, is this won't keep forever. You have to use it within a few days. You can always use this for something else. And you have to clean it very, very thoroughly, like with soap water, spray that through a couple of times, rinse it out real well, maybe even dump some vinegar in, spray that a couple of times. If not, it's going to get really smelly really fast. Just a tip. If you haven't seen the first episode of this series in Bread Baking 101, I'm going to post a link to it here, I think. It's about the simplest of doughs for bread, and you can use that though, for just about anything. So please have a look, and please do follow if you like this. Okie dokie, moment of truth. Let's look at what we got. I'm fairly excited about this. Oh, wow. This done hard. Nice. Oh, look at that. Just going to get these on a cooling rack and let them cool down, and I'll be showing you how we do our buns in for Fastelavensboller and how the Swedish do their infamous semla in just a little while. As you can see, we got a nice glossy result all over. I see a couple of spots that I missed, and so I could have been more patient and gone in from more angles. But even old hands like me learn something new just about every time I bake. Now, most people would be more than happy if they got a bun like this with some nice raspberry or blueberry jam, some cream on top, not the sweets. They are absolute bonkers, and maybe they are right. And I'm gonna show you what exactly those mad people are on about. So this is the Swedish semla, and I really do hope I get it right. If not, there's going to be tons of Swedes with pitchforks and torches outside my place. Okay, I'm going to cut off the top, like so. Get that out. And now what these crazy Swedes do, they take out a little bit of the interior, something like this. Some probably do a lot more. And then we're going to fill it with these, almost like a cream. It's like a mix in consistency of marzipan and cream. I made a short about how to make this, and I'm going to link to that. Nice dollop or two of those. And now you can start to see why I made these semla, small. Then a tiny bit amount of cream, or what the Swedish refer to as a tiny amount of cream, something like that. And we're gonna pop that lid on, and you would think that we were finished, but no. So as I said, it's semla is eaten all year round, but especially on Shrove Tuesday, or as they call it, Fettisdagen, which is the last day before Lent. Hang on, just the final touches here. Patience. Ta-da! Like it wasn't sugary enough already. Can't really blame them. Yeah. I think that's good enough to eat. Trio, Swedish champion in front.